Hi, everybody. Pablo Roche from VMware Hands-on Labs. Very, very fortunate here to have all my great friends together from VMware and IBM Cloud Team to kind of talk about VMworld, all the cool things that we did. This is a kind of a short panel video, very informal, but really to kind of get the word out about all the cool things that we've done with IBM Cloud. And I think it'll be a great experience, great journey into it. We're going to have Mr. John Schultz moderate this panel for us, and he'll introduce the people on the team. So John, please take it
Excellent.
away.
Thanks, Pablo. This is John Schultz. In addition to my lab staff manager role with the Hands-on Lab, I'm also the global account SE for the IBM Global Account Team. And in that role, I get to work with a lot of these folks here on the call to talk about the IBM cool technologies that are being developed. And today we've got Mr. Mike Wiles, Jordan Shamir, and Rajiv here from IBM to talk to us about the IBM Cloud offering that was used to back some of the hands-on labs that were delivered at VMworld. And we also have Mr. Joey Deakins, who's going to talk to us a little bit about how the cloud was used. Joshua Schnee, our performance engineer, otherwise known as the Crusher. And so we also have Sandy, and Sandy might appear in a discussion about the Odyssey that also happened at the VMworld event, also using the IBM Cloud capacity as well. So to get us started off with the discussion, Joey, can you tell us a little bit about how the IBM Cloud was used to deliver the labs?
Sure. Yeah, so I'm Joey Deakins. I run the infrastructure for the Hands-on Lab team. We've had a great relationship with IBM over the last few years here. As we look at kind of forecasting how much cloud capacity we need for one of these large events like VMworld, we burst up about double the size of our regular run rate. And we need to partner with public cloud providers like IBM in order to get that extra capacity, since we just don't have it on-prem. And we've utilized IBM's dedicated hardware service for the past couple of years. And then this year, we had the great opportunity to use IBM Cloud for VMware Solutions, a cloud-based service, which allowed us to import basically IBM's cloud into our offering very, very seamlessly, and great relationship. And again, we used about 20% IBM Cloud for VMworld, and it allowed us to scale up very quickly.
Excellent. We also, in putting that together, we were able to work together, IBM and VMware, from an engineering standpoint to optimize the experience. Mike, can you talk about the experience of optimizing the IBM Cloud offering to run these labs?
Absolutely. Thanks, John. Mike Wiles from IBM. I'm one of the key leaders for the VMware solution that we offer as shared tenant. And it was a fantastic opportunity for us to work with VMware for the hands-on labs. In particular, when we got the sizings up front, we were super excited to order a bunch more hardware and expand our footprint. But it also allowed us to dig deeper into the weeds. Some of the use cases that were provided via hands-on labs uncovered some issues that we needed to address to improve the performance. So it was a win for the hands-on lab, but most importantly, it was a win for our existing customers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think VMware benefited from the experience as well in optimizing our products to make sure we were getting the best performance. And overall, it was a great engineering experience with IBM and VMware together, putting this together. So Jordan, maybe you can talk about, before we go to Josh, Joey mentioned the infrastructure as a service offering that we've used in the past, and we've switched to this shared offering that we used this time around. Can you talk a little bit about the difference in the two?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, John, you and I have been in this for a while, this VMware IBM offering, which started in 2016, and everything we did was single tenant and dedicated. We still do single tenant and dedicated, through our VCS platform, which is the IBM lingo for our Cloud Foundation offering. And so recently we released a multi-tenant, managed offering. We saw clients want that burstability of public cloud, but I want to keep, my VMware hypervisor. I have my tools, I have my practices, I want to move to public cloud, but use VMware. So that's, I think this use case of the VMware Hands-on Lab, helped, solidify, but also validate, why customers are looking this way. right? So what we did with y'all is originally you guys were sitting on our, bare metal hypervisor. You get the full hypervisor access, but you're sitting on those servers. When you look at VMworld, you only need it for, I think it was 3 days, 4 days of the actual conference, right? Why do I need to pay for that for the full month? So it kind of showed a little bit of that modernization we see our clients going through with, how do I go from on-prem to cloud, either in a private cloud setting to potentially moving into a public cloud setting. So it was really, for me, it was super validating to see this actual use case, because we are seeing modernization even going on within our own, interactions going on between each other.
Absolutely. And so it was really cool to see the flexibility there. And like Mike said, we got to test out some new gear and increase the capacity on the back end, which, that just provides customers flexibility to increase their capacity if the need arises. So it becomes very flexible for customers that way. Looking at the performance, Josh, how did things look on the back end from a performance standpoint?
Great. I've been lucky to participate in a lot of this partnership over the last few years, and it's always a pleasure, right? It's an opportunity for the IBM and VMware R&D folks to collaborate, to learn from each other. It's already been touched upon. This is a unique experience, right? One, we're doing real bursting. We are trying to expand our hardware and software footprint very rapidly. They bring me in to really answer one question, and that is, can we take that burst capacity and provide it to the number of customers that we want to successfully? And obviously, we already know that VMworld was a great success. And as Mike was talking about, we were able to kind of dig in, find some ways to optimize, and again, feedback great things to IBM, to VMware, help our products, help our customers. So it was great.
Excellent. Pablo, you might be able to talk a little bit about the number of labs that we ran over that short period of time. I mean, it was a very dynamic workload, but what kind of performance numbers or metrics did we see over that period?
So, it was like a 72-hour marathon, right? Because it was worldwide. And we delivered 14,000 labs in 2-hour bursts throughout those 72 hours. Mm-hmm. I think the big thing that we were looking at was the NPS rating. Mm-hmm. And usually at an in-person event, when we have white glove service, somebody there, the NPS customer ratings are about 50 to 55. With the event online, we were at 44, we think it's great because it's a first time out. So in terms of our metrics and our SAT ratings, we learned a lot, but we think overall the customers had a smooth experience because of the reliability on the IBM Cloud. So again, we were very, very fortunate to be able to partner with you guys. And I think one benefit to the IBM Cloud customers and VMware customers is that they know that IBM and VMware work together to solve problems. And, we just, the more you beat on these clouds, the better they get. And I think Josh, the Crusher, can testify to that. But, you always want a cloud that's been run around the block a few times. And that's kind of something that we've always done, so you can count on the IBM's reliability.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll add a quick point there. So one of the things I do is try to calculate the amount of churn, right? How many labs can these clouds provide? And by the end of the process, as we were getting ready for VMworld, IBM Cloud was actually able to deliver 116% of the target. So I calculate what a cloud should be able to do. It did 116% of that. So very, very high performance.
That's excellent. And I know with these labs, Josh, we're deploying many data centers that include, NSX, vSAN, vSphere, and churning that over and over again. So we're creating hundreds of virtual networks, petabytes of storage, and any number of hypervisors.
And tens of thousands of VMs are being spun up and destroyed. It's effectively worst case scenario for any cloud. So it's great to see you work together.
Well, I'm glad we survived that crushing that you delivered. So, Pablo, you mentioned that this is a worldwide event. I believe, Jordan, we hosted the capacity out of the Dallas data center. IBM Cloud has a number of data centers, but is this offering available in other regions around the world as well?
Yeah, so actually, thanks to you guys, I want to call out a couple things. Thanks to the Hands-on Labs, we've released a new storage profile, which we call standard storage, which gives essentially unlimited IOPS to make that bootable volumes, better and higher performance. And what we've also done is originally we were just deployed in DAL 10, and thanks to the Hands-on Lab and the additional capacity, now we deploy across the whole Dallas MZR. So MZR is a multi-zone region, so we deploy across three data centers at the same time, load balancing between, and we can do actually HA networking, to ensure that all your networks are kind of ubiquitous across your different VDCs, which is cool. We're in Frankfurt as well, and we're looking to expand into different regions, in APJ probably, and then followed by potential other sites within the US and EMEA. But yeah, I mean, we got a lot of benefits even from feature and functionality that we're starting to see clients leverage thanks to y'all's testing.
Fantastic. And I know Jordan, we're looking at a couple of things with the VMware Learning Platform to make that available potentially on the IBM Cloud as well. So there's all kinds of flexibility to leverage this highly performant cloud that we've clearly demonstrated that it works really well under the worst conditions, Josh.
Yeah, and I think to Josh's point, I mean, he tried to break the environment, and when we think about some of our enterprise clients, I don't know how many are deploying. I think you said, I think like thousands of NSX edges, within a given time. So it really helps, this shows us essentially the vitality of the product VCloud Director, right? It's been, I think it just had its 10th birthday, which is, a great product. It's well known, but also the implementation that we can do within a cloud construct is really, really enticing to any kind of use case, from a training, dev test, burstability for anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jordan, this is a service that customers can buy into today. They can purchase capacity. It's hourly capacity that they're purchasing. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah. So what we do is we offer VCloud Director as a service, right? So essentially, what you do is you can provision, 1 vCPU, 1 gigabyte of RAM at minimum, or even just provision a VDC, and then you get full exposure to VCloud Director APIs. Everything we do is metered hourly. You can consume and run how you like.
Makes it pretty flexible. And then clearly, if I've got a catalog of virtual machines that I'm running, I could choose to power some of those off and not pay for that capacity, right? When the VMs are sitting there, there's a fee that's monthly fee, right? But how does that work? How does the cost go?
So what we do is we have two pricing models. We have on demand, which is an hourly based usage model, and then we have reserved. So from a on-demand model, you pay $20 for a virtual data center. A virtual data center in our world is 5 IPs and a HA ESG, so Edge Service Gateway. And then within there, you can consume whatever you like from an hourly perspective. I stand up a VM, I delete that VM, I pay for when it's on, and then when I delete it, it's gone. Reserved is essentially I'm paying monthly, but I'm guaranteeing my infrastructure availability.
So all kinds of different flexibility models there, and good performance clearly that we've seen. So maybe we should pull Sandy into this conversation as well, since she's down there in our chat too. Sandy, you were in charge of the VMworld Odyssey program, and we also leveraged the IBM capacity for that. Can you talk a little bit about how things went for that challenge and maybe what it was and how things went?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is our second year running VMware Odyssey. It's our newest offering within Hands-on Labs. And essentially what it is gamification of the labs. We have created elements and added those features into the lab where there's a leaderboard, there's a timer. So this year we brought back this program to VMworld in a virtual environment where we did a competition both in America and Europe region. So when we're in a competition and we're giving out prizes, it's critical that everything is running smoothly, because people are not happy if they're unable to load the lab and if it affects their time and the scoring. So overall, we were able to run a very smooth event. We got people to participate across the globe, and they were happily able to receive their prizes. So we were able to expand more also in our content offerings. We actually expanded across the VMware portfolio, introduced new products such as Tanzu, which we hadn't done before, and it worked very well.
Excellent. That's good to hear. All right. Well, I think that covers most of what we had planned to talk about. Pablo, anything else before we wrap up here?
No, just a big thank you to IBM, and just enjoy the partnership, and looking forward to next year. So we'll definitely continue the going. And for customers out there, IBM is definitely a cloud you can trust, and a lot of great people behind the project. So it's something to definitely bet your business on.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody on the panel from IBM, and thank you for your time here, John. And it's always love having you as the MC.
It's good to be here. Now, one in closing, maybe Jordan, if we want to find out more information about how to get the IBM Cloud capacity from a customer standpoint, where do we go? What's the best place to turn?
Yeah, so we have if you Google IBM Cloud for VMware Solutions Shared, we'll have tons of information out there. We also have a promotion, $500 to kind of get started and play. Something we recommend doing is, we want to walk our walk, right? So, we highly recommend anyone, if you have any free time, if you're looking at the cloud, to look or potentially try the promotion to see if you like the environment.
Fantastic. All right. Well, team, thanks very much for the time. We'll continue, Mike, to optimize the platform and make this work for customers. And next year, hopefully VMworld is in person and we can all do this together.
Yeah. Stay safe, everybody.
All right. Thanks, team.
All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Bye.